Hello, Facebook world. It's going to be for Sarah Page and for SJ and for anyone who wants to watch. Welcome tonight. This is the first live of 7 lives I'm going to be doing this week around creating optimal health and well-being, really. So not just health but well-being for anyone, really, but obviously my focus is women. I train women, so that's a large focus for me. And tonight's topic is probably one of my favorites, and that's self-love. And for me, that also relates to self-love, self-care, self-respect. It's all sort of like tied in a little bit for me. And it's definitely not something I'm perfect at, that's for sure, and something that I think is a work in progress always. And probably because of just the sheer life we live now and the environments that we are and the media that is bombarding us, telling us we're not good enough all the time. So that is definitely a work in progress. So I have each night I'm going to be giving some tips, a bit of knowledge, and something to take some take homes and things that you can incorporate into your life to help with each sort of topic. And we do things from there tonight: self-care, self-love, and hi guys. And we also, I'm just going to move this down a little bit. There we go. And then we'll be also cover sleep and stress and hunger and all sorts of different topics. So definitely stay with me for the week. It's going to be pretty juicy, and a lot of the content that I talk about throughout my program, they're sort of condensed, like my favorite things, and the women get a lot more of this content when they join the program. So let's dive into tonight, self-love. And I want to really start with finding your why. So your why in sort of why you want to be healthy. Hey, gorgeous. Why you want to improve your life in that way, your health and well-being. And for me, I've talked about before that my why is, I'm just going to switch this down a bit more again. I'm just going to go like this because I'm chopping off my head. My why and why I choose to be healthy and be the best version of myself is so I can be happy in my life and feel fulfilled and feel confident. And also, like, a big why for me is my kids, so that I can be healthy for them, for their life, and inspire them as well. So I find it's for me. And then when I had children, I found my next level was for them, so I can be a great role model for them. And I mean, my kids, we talk about being healthy and why we eat a certain way, why we exercise, all those things. So that would be sort of my why. So my first step for people would be find your why, because without a why, and if your why is not big enough, you won't follow through and you won't choose health, basically. And how self-love and self-respect is choosing health, yeah? Because we want to be healthy. That doesn't mean that we can't have ice cream and we can't, enjoy ourselves and miss training sessions and do anything like that. But it really comes down to that self-love, self-respect. So that's my first little takeaway there. And also, do not define yourself. I just want to start with this first, by your scale weight. Because your weight, and I talk about this with my ladies all the time, some of my ladies lose 2 dress sizes, feel amazing, but we can be like, oh, my scales haven't changed at all, because we're not defined by that. Our bodies are ever changing, ever developing, and it cannot measure how amazing you are and how much you put into every session and how you live your life and who you are and any of it. It just measures your bones, your skin, yes, your body fat, your muscle, everything. So let's not define ourselves by our weight. That is a good self-love practice to start with. And that kind of leads into what I love to talk about too, is how you choose to move your body. And it comes into that self-love, because are we choosing to move our body from a self-love place or a self-loathe, self-hating place? That is, I think, a crucial part, because you will want to exercise, eat well, look after yourself and everything if you are choosing to do it from a place of love for yourself, genuine love, care and respect. And you'll pick those better options because they feel better and you know how that makes you feel.
if we're coming from a hating place, we're really punishing ourselves rather than, hi gorgeous, send me some love hearts, hi guys, if you were watching. You know, so choosing that, coming from that love instead of that hate and that punishing and grilling yourself and punishing yourself if you have eaten something you deem as bad. Let's put it in little brackets because I don't think there's anything's bad or good. There is a sort of optimal and not optimal for your health, but we're always going to have some ice cream. I love ice cream or chocolate or whatever it is for you. So choosing to move your body because you love it, not because you hate it. And if you're coming from that place, you're also going to really enjoy putting nutritious, nourishing food into your body as well. So that's like a little point, one that I talk about a lot with the ladies. And something I did want to touch on is something that I found really useful for me. I had a pneumonia a year and a half ago now, and it was when I'd sort of worked myself into the ground and I hadn't been doing any self-love practices and the things that I'm going to go into as we get through today. And I am going to try and keep it not too long, I'm already rambling a little bit, is self-love massage. So when we're feeling quite hard on ourselves, that hating ourselves, self-love massages worked amazingly for me. And that's just touching our skin, you know, we don't often touch our own skin in that sort of loving way. So putting some beautiful oils on, I really like to do it before a shower so it's not super oily, and just rinse it off, and just sending gratitude to your body. That is an amazing self-love practice. Being grateful for the arms that are, you know, carrying your bag and carrying your children, and your body for carrying children if you've carried children, or your legs for taking you through every day, like, you know, massaging them. That to me is one of my favorite self-love practices. And self-care, really. And you can tie it in with having a bath, which is a great self-care practice as well. And that kind of also goes into gratitude. I was saying about sending your body gratitude. So another self-love practice that is amazing and has pulled me out of my darker times is gratitude. And to be honest too, I don't keep it consistent. It would be amazing if I did, but none of us are perfect, is writing down. So even my hubby and I, we often send each other 3 things that we're grateful for, and we can do that as well, but writing it down. So when I found that I was in sort of my darkest places, when I've had anxiety before or postnatal depression, gratitude has pulled me out, because there's always something to be grateful for. We can always come back to, even if it's just for the fact that we're still breathing, yeah, the fact that, you know, I've got a really nice warm tea here. So gratitude is awesome. And I find you need to also, once you write it, hi guys, once you write it, sit with it and feel it. So it's not just like tick it off the list, like quickly write it down and then shut the book and go. So sit with it and feel the gratitude in your body, like notice where you feel that. That's an amazing practice. Send me some love hearts if you're liking the content, and you can definitely share this. If you share this on your timeline now, other people get to see it live, which is amazing. So I'd be really grateful if you did that. And going from gratitude now to mirror work. Here's another self-love practice that can be quite confronting for people, especially we're going to get into language at the end, especially if we're not necessarily been speaking to ourselves very kindly. Mirror work is great for that. Getting up close and personal with yourself and looking yourself in the eyes and sending yourself love. You can even just start with that, you know, because we can start with that, because we go into a bit of affirmations later, and that can be done in front of the mirror as well. But sending yourself love, like I've had a lot of women who have been, you know, really hurting inside and can't even look at themselves in the mirror. So to be able to stand there and send yourself love, you might burst into tears, and that's totally okay. If that's what happens, that's okay. Yeah, just sit with that. Let that be, let that pass through you, cry, and, you know, coming out of that, you'll probably feel heaps better than if you had have resisted the tears that come up when you do look at yourself. Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for joining. So we've gone through moving your body because you love it, self-love massages, gratitude, now some mirror work, and now onto my next little self-love practice, which is journaling. And this is something that I do occasionally, not something I would love to actually do this more often myself, and something I really would like to incorporate more. But what I find with journaling is when you're feeling these feelings, whatever that is for you, sitting down and writing down how you feel. I've had the incredible self-realizations while I'm feeling that, because it's usually in the times I'll sit down and write down if I'm kind of feeling angry that something's happened, or what someone may have said, or how I felt in that situation. But journaling it, hey gorgeous, I've literally had self-realizations like, oh my God, that came from then, and that's where that sort of stemmed from, and how that made me feel, and wow, that's not even, like it can be not even the case that why this latest situation's happened. It's just how we reacted to another situation. So journaling's awesome. If you're a deep thinker, it'd be even better for you to do on a really regular basis. So that's amazing. And next practice is sitting in stillness, however that looks for you. It can be meditating, it can be breathing, because when we sit in stillness, we actually allow those feelings to come up. So stillness would actually even be doing that mirror work while you're there in front of the mirror, you're being still. So some emotions will come up. So we tend to keep busy, doing, and don't allow ourselves to actually feel what's coming up. And the beautiful Amanda's watching now, and we've had this discussion about emotional eating in that position where you don't want to feel the emotion. So we can do it through numbing, and that can be through food, social media, gambling, TV, mindlessly scrolling, alcohol, drugs, obviously there's like a list of that. Games, video games, all those things, that's like a numbing mechanism, not wanting to sit with those feelings. So sitting in stillness allows your actual inner voice to come up too, and you can really feel what's going on for you. And if you actually feel it and experience it in the moment, that emotion, even if it's anxiety, will move through you quicker than if we suppress it and stop it coming up. So we allow that emotion to come up, do its full cycle, feel it, cry, anger, happy, whatever the emotion is. Doesn't always have to be a perceived negative emotion. Allow that to come, and then it will move through you, and it will like complete its cycle, as it's called. So the cycle of emotion, and you're less likely to have it explode in a larger fashion if you don't keep suppressing that emotion down. So sitting in stillness is beautiful for that. Meditating, lots of people love to meditate, however that looks for you. It doesn't have to be, thanks babe, doesn't have to be, an hour meditating or 20 minutes. It can just be 5 minutes or 5 minutes of stillness. Like I like to sit outside. I'm just pointing so you know where I am, and just sit in the garden. And I'm so excited about our new place that we're getting, because we're having all these little oases in our back garden. So make a space that you love to go and sit and be, and maybe cry if that feels good for you, and also listen to what's going on for you, because that's when you can get the answers. Like we can tend to ask people what we should do, or I don't know what to do in this situation, but sit with yourself, sit in that stillness, and just feel and allow yourself to answer your own questions. So that was my next one, which was sitting in stillness. And we've talked a little bit about affirmations, but I'm going to touch on it again. And affirmations can be amazing for some people, and some people don't like it. So it's totally what resonates with you. And it would also be like wording that resonates with you, and what you're, I wouldn't say like wanting to feel, but what you're wanting to experience in your life, whatever that may be. Maybe it's emotion, maybe it's even a relationship, maybe it's wanting kids, or whatever it is. But writing that down as a sort of affirmation, as if it's already happened. Yeah, so as if that experience, feeling, whatever that is already happened. So if you write that down and then say it to yourself and imagine how that would feel. So it's like you're projecting yourself into the future. And that is probably the best form of affirmation, rather than trying to say something you don't believe already, something that you're wanting to experience, and see how amazing that would feel, as if you've already experienced it. That's a really good tool, and I use that with scripting, with how I would like my business to go, or how I would like an event I'm doing to go, and sit with how that would feel and what I would love it to them experience. And, you know, just like you can write it as long as you like with scripting, but affirmations are good, kind of like short and sweet. So that's another good tool. And one of the last things, I'm going to leave you with a quote at the end, but I'm going to touch on language now because I just said it a little bit at the start, because language and the way that we speak to ourselves would probably be like the biggest thing that I notice in the women that I've worked with over the last 20 years. This isn't just like now. Hi guys. And it's not all of them, obviously, but it's just, and even friends, you know, hearing sometimes the way that people speak to themselves. And I've done this in the past too. And if I'm in my dark place, or my shit sometimes as I call it, I can do that too, where I can be down on myself and putting myself down and not speaking to myself very nicely. So language is important because your mind hears everything. Your body hears everything you say. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, whatever that your words are to yourself, your body hears that. Yeah, you wouldn't say that to a girlfriend, you wouldn't say it to another person, but it's like your body's like crying inside, yeah? And so the way you speak to yourself, and then using those affirmations are an incredible tool. Just really notice too how you do speak to yourself. That might be something that you might need some awareness on. You know, it might be sitting down and just noticing, catching yourself when you might say something that might be ineffective for where you're wanting to go, your growth, your journey, or whatever that is. You might even want to write something down. You know, I did something a while ago, I can't remember what it was, and we had to write down, it's kind of almost like a love letter to yourself, and an apology letter. Did I read that? I can't remember what it was now. So you sit down and write down kind of like a sorry to yourself for the way that you've been speaking to yourself, and you just write everything. And it might even be so sorry for the way that you've treated your body. You know, in the past, I probably abused mine in my 20s, you know, so it could be just like apologizing for all of that. And then writing down all the things you're grateful for that you do now, whether that's grateful for your legs for carrying you. So can it be physically? Oh, beautiful. It can be physically, or it can be, you know, like what you're doing. You're grateful that, like for me, I'm so grateful that I can be right here and sharing this with you all, and grateful for what I do because I love what I do. I love it. I love helping women, and I'm actually feeling emotional right now because it really is in my heart space to help people, and it means a lot, and I'm so grateful for you all watching. And I'm really grateful to share this content. So, and I'm really excited for 7 days of it, and this is the first day and I'm already crying. So yeah, writing yourself a love letter, do that, that's amazing. And I have gone longer than I was hoping to, so I'm gonna just leave you with a quote. And my quote I want to leave you with is, being happy doesn't mean that everything is perfect, and that can be for yourself. It means that you've decided to look beyond your imperfections. So I want to leave that with you tonight. Thank you everybody for watching. Tune in tomorrow night. I'm going to be here every night sharing different content. And like I said, this content I talk about in my posts all the time with my women, and it's all there on my membership site too. And some of them may not have even looked at it fully yet. Like, it's all there, and I've just kind of like compiled my short, sweet favorite list of things that I would love to share, and the things that are really sitting with me now that I would, you know, I think that people would get a lot of value from. So tune in tomorrow night, tune in every night. It'll be over Easter, I know. It's going to be on Saturday night too, I know. But, you know, set aside some time. And if you saw some value in this live tonight, share it on your profile, share it with someone that you know could really do with hearing this message right now. Because there's a lot of women that really do. And, you know, I've talked about how it can break my heart hearing that the way people speak to themselves, and that they don't know how good that they can feel, and that you can get through that, you know. So anyway, I'm sending you all love today. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. Much love.